know some of you up here, and I really appreciate all the work that you've been doing. I'll just say a few words about what we're trying to do at the Dharma Murphy-Shigematsu, which is trying to do a different kind of model that takes into account a lot of the things we're talking about. First of all, the emphasis of the undergraduate and graduate work is on every text related to the quality of human experience, the quality of community, and the quality of the environmental context in which we live, the balance of the environment that we live in. So everything that's read is studied not for the critical review of it from criticism, but from reading the text to try to understand in it what it has to say, both for the individual and the group, in terms of what it says about the quality of human existence, the quality of our life, the quality of not only our own consciousness, but the quality of us together as a community. And so there's still responsibility, though, because it's very important that the students read the text carefully and bring that experience to class, because if they don't bring it to class, then it doesn't really have the equanimity of the group being able to bring all their different views into the classroom. So the teacher in this kind of a context plays a different role in sort of a leader of a discussion, trying to make sure that depth goes to the actual meaning and we don't lose the depth of the meaning. But if people in the class come to that meaning in their own conversation, and it doesn't need so much direction, if they don't always come to where the deeper meaning is, it might need a little direction. But the class isn't competing with each other. They're working together to all come to an equally creative and insightful insights into the curriculum. And it's not only Buddhist curriculum, but it takes them through the first 4 years of the undergraduate. It takes them all the way through the main text in Indian culture, the main text in Chinese culture, the main text in Western culture, the main text in mathematics and science in terms of the forming of a scientific and mathematical way of thinking. So rather than so zeroed in on content per se and memorization, is more to the depth of each of the texts in terms of what it has to say, both to the person individually and collectively to the group. So we're trying to solve 4 or 5 of the issues that have been raised here already in the discussion, and taking that through accreditation was really interesting. Last year we got accredited, and taking through WASC meant that having to explain to WASC how each element of this actually fit an overall model that was consistent within itself is a worthwhile project in itself, because that discussion led into a really wide-ranging discussion about higher education as a whole. So we're only in the very early stages of this. The other aspect of it that is built in is some meditation as our lab work. So if we're reading a text, there's many Buddhist texts that are talking about experience, that if you haven't had some experience of meditation and mindfulness, you wouldn't know what's being referenced. They're not intellectual concepts. They're pointing to experience. Therefore, you need to provide the skills that are necessary to be able to be mindful and meditate in all the different forms of meditation and awareness, so that there's not only just an intellectual understanding of the text, but actually using the text directly to have insights into the concept. So we even break out of the class every semester for a more intensive meditation, and along the way during the class there's constant practice along with the text, particularly if the practice is necessary to understanding that text. So that's just some ideas that we've been working with.
So that's probably the most collaborative way of learning I've seen, or I heard.
Well, because the laboratory, the thing is there's many measurable, not only in terms of the person themselves, but also in terms of other kind of measure, because when you think of meditation, the reason for studying the text is give you a sense of direction into the mind. But once you have a sense of that direction in the mind to what you're looking for to observe, then you can not only observe thoughts and emotions, but you can observe the body actually tensing. You can actually see where the tensions in the body occur. And this is where younger people in the elementary and the high school, we also have elementary and high school, you have to develop a total curriculum that relates to the place that different people are in their maturation and development. And so earlier on, you want to have reference to their actual physical experiences that relate to things. And as you move on, you don't want to start with such abstraction. You want to start with the immediate experience that people are having.
Yeah, Doug, I think you raise a really good point. That I think, in order to understand the world we live in, we have to go to sort of a reductionist approach of understand the component. But somehow I feel like once we break out these components, like psychology or electrical engineering, they are means to an end, meaning understanding whatever bigger problem that we are dealing with. But somehow these they just become the end in itself. So at university, since I'm very involved here and not so involved in other places, they all talk about interdisciplinary study, but they are all fake, labels. There's no such thing. The professors, if they happen to have good relationship with truly someone else in a different department, yes, it will happen. Otherwise, it's just all BS. And in fact, here's a story. This gentleman I met from Moore's Foundation, when they first started the foundation, they have 3 objectives. One of the objectives was to fund interdisciplinary study. Ed Penhall, he's actually a famous professor here. And he basically said, after a year, listening to all these propaganda messages from different university presidents, they completely dropped the initiative because they were just all, talk. So that's the problem we have, is that we separate it. So even at high school level, we are creating these disciplines almost like in isolation. There's no contact. Like, the way Buddha talked about, hey, don't just take my word for it. Go out and try it out yourself and see if it works for you. But there's no such thing within what we, I'm trying to bring that into the program, and it's a struggle. So I don't know, how can we incorporate more of that?
Well, the missing element is the actual experience of the person. There's only one place that makes contact, and that's in the actual conscious awareness of the person who's studying. Everything else is just context. I think that Buddhist division into the conditional, the imagined, and the real is a really nice way to put this. The conditioned is science studies the conditioned fairly well for limited realm. The totality of the interconnected web of the imagined is the theories that we put to that. The language theories, the scientific, the mathematical theories. And then the Buddha added this element of the real, meaning the actual experience that's occurring. So we need to get back to the actual experience that's occurring in the awareness of the student. And you start from there. And then the other elements, those are just aspects of our experience. That's the content of our experience. And we can include all of those. And we have a lot of knowledge about the imagined and the conditioned today. And we've done a lot of work on that. The problem is if it doesn't start with the real, it completely loses the foundation to human awareness and consciousness and where it all emanates and what it all comes back to. If we lose touch with that, then we lose the fundamental ground of the whole experience.
Well, I think that's also part of the reason we're having so many issues with mental health, even as you mentioned. At Cal, it's the same way. The students are very stressed. In fact, I think the suicide rates among college students have been going up in the last few years. So it's a huge issue, and students are not reaching out for help either. Stephen, would you like to comment on that a little bit more?
That's part of the reason I started the